So I am back. It has been quite a while, a little bit over a month. I took off the last week of June and then all of July. This is because I had a lot going on in July. The big things I had happening that month were 2 different classes that I had signed up for. One of them occupied much of June and much of July, and the other one was a weekend class that I was just excited about, but that I knew was going to be exhausting and would involve a lot of practice even after I had passed that class. So I'm going to talk about what those classes were, what I've been reading, what I've been doing, and all of that fun stuff just to catch you up to speed. And obviously, elephant in the room, me. I look very different than I did in my previous video. I've changed up my look considerably. But at least at this point, I don't really regret it. So let's catch up. Let's talk about what I've been doing, what I've been reading, what I have been thinking about. And I'm gonna start at the very beginning, which was June in Colorado. I spent several days hiking in Colorado. We hiked Mount Huron. I did not quite make it all the way up to the top of the mountain. That was very challenging, probably the hardest hike I've ever done. Not because physically in terms of like my legs and stamina and everything it was difficult, but because in terms of my lung capacity and adjusting to the altitude in Colorado, I didn't have enough time. I feel like if I had maybe been there for another week or 2, I would have adjusted a little bit more to the altitude, but unfortunately, that's not how much time I had, and so by the time I got above the tree line, I was really feeling like I wasn't going to make it, and I finally just said, I'm gonna stop here, I'm gonna start taking some photos and videos, and I'm just going to relax and enjoy my time at the top of the mountain. And that was a fantastic experience. I'm really glad that I stopped there and I had a couple of hours to myself to just take pictures and videos and sit and listen to an audiobook. So I sat on top of that mountain and I listened to John Gwynne's Hunger of the Gods, which was a fantastic experience. Definitely recommend it. It was just me and the wind, which was a very light breeze. And even though it was kind of chilly on top of that mountain, I had a decent jacket and I was just having a nice time. So I really enjoyed my time up there. And I think I got some pretty good videos and photos. I'm going to throw a few of those up on screen, and I've posted several on my Instagram account as well. I post these sorts of things on my personal Instagram account, not my book Instagram account. But if you want to check that out, it is at tlbainter.personal. So I'll have those photos up there, but check out what I managed to capture. Unfortunately, my little hiatus was not just so that I could have fun climbing mountains. I actually went home and studied for an exam that I had personally signed up for because there's a certification that I wanted. It is the AWS CCP, which is Certified Cloud Practitioner. I know a bunch of you just zoned out, so I'm going to make this very quick. This is essentially something that is going to help my 9-to-5 job, not my YouTube job. So it's not anything super exciting for most of the people here, unless you are also in IT, but it is going to help me get a leg up and hopefully get a better job than what I have right now. Truthfully, it was challenging just because a lot of the test was about memorizing things and memorizing terms and acronyms, which I'm just not very good at. I can barely remember what happened in the book that I just read, let alone what LAMDBQRSTUV stands for. I had a really hard time with that, so it took me several weeks of studying and doing practice exams before I finally felt confident enough to pay the fee to take the exam, and then I actually passed, and I passed with a pretty high score, so I am quite proud of myself for that one, to be honest. The last exam that I took, I was 18 years old, and it was just the CompTIA A+ certification or whatever it's called, and I haven't taken a test since then, so this was the first test I've taken in 10 years because I turned 28 tomorrow, so yeah, I'm surprised that I passed. And then I also followed it up with yet another exam, but I'm gonna get to that one here in a minute. The next thing I want to talk about is terrain painting. I've been doing quite a bit of that because right now my D&D campaign is on a bit of a summer break. Instead, I have my younger brother currently running a mini campaign, which is going to be once a month so that I have plenty of time to recover and prepare for the next stage of my home game. So right now I'm doing a lot of terrain painting. If you are somebody who's into D&D or things like that, I'd love to hear that from you. I don't really talk about it on this channel anymore, but I did open this channel up as a channel that was going to talk a lot about D&D, so obviously it has shifted quite a bit. But if you are somebody who is from that area and have been sticking around since then, or if you just like hearing about it, I'd love to talk to you more about it. I also post these sorts of things on my personal Instagram account as well. I'm doing a lot of terrain painting. Pretty much every Thursday I spend several hours just sitting down and doing some painting. It's a great opportunity for me to listen to audiobooks because I can just sit and have it playing in the background on a speaker while I am just painting kind of mindlessly. Especially when it's terrain, you're really painting the same thing over and over again, so it just kind of lets you get into a rhythm, and then I can just zone out and listen purely to the audiobook. And it's how I read pretty much the entirety of Shadow of the Gods, and it's how I've read quite a bit of Hunger of the Gods, which is actually going to segue into what I have been reading, because in the month of July, when I've had the opportunity, I have been reading Hunger of the Gods. I'm not super far into it. I think I'm about a third of the way through just because of how much I've been having to do this month, but it has been a fantastic experience. I feel like I'm going to enjoy it even more than I enjoyed Shadow of the Gods in the long run. At least right now, I'm liking it more than Shadow of the Gods, which is really saying something because I gave Shadow 5 stars, and it is my favorite read of the year that I've finished so far in 2022. So I'm really looking forward to how Hunger of the Gods is going to play out. I feel like there are a lot of parts of Hunger of the Gods that have shown a vast improvement over the previous book, which I didn't think was possible. All of the new viewpoints that I have come across so far have really enhanced the story as opposed to feeling like they are bogging it down, which I think is important. When you are writing an epic fantasy, it's tempting to just add a ton of viewpoints into it, and you just keep piling more and more on until you have, 60 or 70 viewpoint characters, and nobody's really going to care about all of those, and sometimes it's going to feel like they're filler or like their viewpoint doesn't really add anything to the story, and I really don't feel that with Hunger of the Gods. Every viewpoint adds some sort of nuance and is unique, and the voice of the person that you are reading comes through very clearly. So I'm greatly enjoying my time reading Hunger of the Gods, and I can't wait to finish it and get a review out there. I expect I'm probably going to finish it here in a week or two, because now that July is over and my really busy month is behind me, I think that I'm going to have plenty of time to sit down and read like I used to. All right, 2 more things to catch you up on, and the next one is something that I was really excited about. I did something I have always wanted to do, but that has kind of intimidated me. I went and I took a motorcycle safety course, and I got my Class M endorsement, so I can ride a motorcycle now. I have been practicing a lot on my own, and I finally took a trip here recently up to my parents' house, which was like a 35-minute ride. It was a lot of fun. I am really enjoying riding. I expect that eventually I'll get to a point where I can listen to an audiobook while I ride, maybe. I'm not anywhere close to that point yet. Honestly, at the moment, I'm just listening to lo-fi while I am riding because I don't want to be risking any sort of distractions while I'm still figuring things out, especially when I'm stalling the bike, once or twice a ride. Having distractions like an audiobook might not be a good idea, but maybe someday I'll get to that point. The course was really challenging, probably the biggest challenge that I've given to myself in a long time, because I've never ridden a motorcycle other than maybe riding on the back of one a long time ago. Like, I've never been on one. The closest I've been is a bicycle. So this was a brand new experience for me, and getting the hang of it over the course of it was a 3-day class, and only 2 days were actual range days where we were out riding on the motorcycles, and getting the hang of it from start to finish over the course of 2 days was really challenging, but I'm glad that I did it, and I can say that I know how to ride a motorcycle now. I'll be getting my pilot's license next. I hope that's the plan. That's the next big challenge that I want to give to myself. So I passed my MSF. I have a Class M endorsement. I have a Ninja 400. I've got all the gear. Got a really cool helmet. I don't know. I'm just having a really good time. Now, there's one other thing that I'm going to be getting for myself, and it is a small birthday present that I got for me. Another thing that I've always wanted but just never had the guts to go and get, and it is going to be a tattoo, and I will post a picture of it probably in this video. I assume I'm gonna try to, but my intent, at least at the time of this filming, is to go in and get the Firefly tattoo from The Last of Us. That's what I've talked to the tattoo artist about, is getting the Last of Us Firefly logo on the back of my right hand. That's, I know, a painful spot, especially for a first tattoo, but I figure I'll get the painful one out of the way. It's the only small tattoo that I really want at the moment, so I figure I'll just go and get it, get the painful one out of the way, and then the other ones I want won't be so bad. So I'm hoping that I will get that tomorrow if everything works out okay, and I will have something to show you. But I'm pretty excited about that. I have several tattoos that I've wanted my whole life, but I'm starting out pretty small, and then I'll move on to the bigger things that I've been thinking of. So yeah, I'm finally getting a tattoo at the age of 28, when I used to think that as soon as I turned 18, I was gonna start getting tattoos. I'm just scared of needles, and I know it's different, but you can't convince my brain otherwise. Is that it? Is that all I needed to? Nope. One other thing. One more thing! Before I wrap everything up here in this video, I wanted to express my immense gratitude to all of the newcomers here. When I took my break, I was at 90 subscribers, and I'm now at 160, which is almost 100% growth, which is just wild. Now, I owe a significant chunk of that to Cam Wolf, who is one of the 2 people who really inspired me to make a YouTube channel. It would be Cam Wolf and Captured in Words, I would say, are my 2 big inspirations. So having him give me a completely unexpected and unprompted shout out in one of his videos was phenomenal.
Bainter, great channel that I think needs way more attention. Check out their video ranking every book since starting my channel.
That meant so much to me just coming from him, but then on top of that, having newcomers come through and check out my content and decide they wanted to stick around for a bit, that means so much to me. So if you came here from him, I am incredibly grateful to you and incredibly grateful to Cam for that and just the kind words that he said about me and my channel. I really appreciate it. And then a considerable amount of it came from organic growth, mainly from my Discworld video, which has been popping off. I genuinely didn't expect that to happen. It was just a silly April Fool's joke that I came up with, but ultimately, I'm just grateful for you. However you came here, it means a lot to me. And it is wild to come back from a month-long break to this many new people. I mean, that's 90 people? I mean, that's 70 new people that I have only interacted with in comments because I have been keeping up with the comments, but I have not been keeping up with videos, so I haven't really interacted with any of you in new ways. So I am excited about the future, and I'm very glad that you're here. Thank you for coming to check it out, and thank you for sticking around to the end, which is when I decided to thank you. If you are not somebody who has joined up with those people and you haven't really interacted yet, but you enjoy the content, I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe. All of that stuff does greatly help out the video, and I am super grateful to you if you do that. But even if you just watch and are a silent lurker and you occasionally check it out, I appreciate you too, just not as much as the other people. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this video. I really appreciate it. If you would like to see another video from me, you can do so by clicking up here. I post every Wednesday, so keep an eye out for next Wednesday's video. Thank you and bye.